Hello again. This is another week of the Geoguessr Reddit League. It's week 7 already, and we are playing on a map called A Hard World. So this is a collection of, it's a map that collects maybe 24 different countries, which are relatively hard to play for various reasons. One of them is this, the Philippines, which is not a country that I know very well, so I actually do find it hard to play. Unless, as in this case, you find a sign right away that gives you not just the village and the municipality, but also the island. So it's Bohol Island, which is kind of in the middle there, on the south, maybe a little bit south of the middle. And yeah, that basically includes all of the information that we need for this round. Of course, it's a bit more difficult if you walk in the wrong direction at the beginning. So I'm looking for Balilihan now, and actually it is on the map already. Yeah, there it is. I was looking around the coastline of the island in the beginning. So I didn't find it right away, but here it is. Now I'm looking for Hanopol, or East Hanopol maybe. And I think that one of the roads that leaves Balilian to the east is actually called the Hanopol Road or something like that. Yeah, there you see it. And with that, we can move east and find, there it is, the Hanopol Elementary School, which is in the village that we're in. Yeah, so Hanopol East. I think I'm looking over to the east here because it says Hanopol East. But in fact, we're just on that road that goes off to the southeast from the main center of Hanopol. I suspect as much, and to confirm it, I'm going northwest to check whether the main village and the main road is there. See that the recording lags at this point for a couple of seconds. And I've had these problems quite a bit when I was recording my games at the beginning of the season. That's why I gave it up. But I am recording this game, and I will be recording the rest of the games in the season, because I got banned on Geoguessr. Supposedly I cheated, which I did not do. But in duels, I had like a couple of games that went well, or that included some guesses which were suspiciously good, so to say. So those were guesses, for example, in a valley in Bhutan that I had seen before, so I guessed the correct valley there. That sort of a situation. And maybe one of my opponents reported it or something like that. Anyways, I got banned from competitive mode, and my results on a game like this wouldn't show on the leaderboard. And that's why I'm recording this, so that so basically to show my work and to show my times and my scores to everyone. I had talked about this with Calamity, the league organizer. I've also shown him the rounds where I have supposedly cheated, and we agreed that those rounds weren't actually evidence of cheating at all. And because of that, as you can see, I am recording my games for the rest of the season, despite the fact that it sometimes slows down my gameplay. Okay, so this was the first one. This was a 5K, even though I was a couple of meters away from it. So a good start to this game. Now here, this is very obviously Mongolia, right? With the car, with that big, I don't know what it is, all the provisions on the back of that car. And I see this is a road that leads to, southeast, no, southwest, something like that. And right through that very sandy desert. I'm thinking this must be somewhere in the south of the country. And I will be looking, because I don't actually find any signs or anything like that here. I'm going south, I don't actually find anything there. I think I'm hitting checkpoint and return now, and going north now. So this is going northeast, northeast, so to say. And that's actually the only thing that I'm getting here. However, as you will see, I do find the correct road, luckily. So the sign said like 242 or something like that. I don't even know what that means. I think that in the moment I believed it might be the distance to Ulaanbaatar. I'm not sure if that's true at all. But I am actually placing my marker at a point that I think might be 240 kilometers from Ulaanbaatar, on the road that I actually find. Yeah. Anyways, there's nothing here. It's all very sandy. I have had rounds like this in Mongolia before, which are very sandy, which is why I have an overall impression of where this could be. On this road, that's the one that goes northeast towards Ulaanbaatar, and that's why I choose it. Looking around a little bit, whether in this region there are other candidate roads. And, I would say, for example, the one just to the west could also be it, but it might be a little bit smaller. So, and this one looks like a serious road, basically, for Mongolia, which is obviously very sparsely populated. So, yeah, I am playing against HerrJemine, another German player, as far as I know, but nobody. I haven't talked to him so far, but he appears to be a very good player. I think he's like in third or fourth place in the league, at least before this leg. And I think he has put up some very good scores over the course of the season. So, yeah, I am not at all confident that I would win this, unless I get some, unless I get lucky. And I think in a round like this in Mongolia, you have to get lucky a little bit, because there's really not much to go by. And then after this, there will be only 2 more weeks. Next week will be in Europe, and the last one will be in Canada. So both of them are actually really large maps, where I think some landscape guessing and some hedging and luck will always be involved. Okay, so yeah, just like here, we are within 115 kilometers, which I think is not bad, because it is the right road, more or less. And Mongolia is a big country, so it could have been, I could have lost a lot of points there. Somebody, yeah, Flipster actually got it, or they got 4999. So well done, Flipster. Oh, okay, so this is Yeah, this is a tough round. Um, so this is Cambodia, which I suspect from the very beginning, but at the same time, um, until the end, I wasn't too sure if it really was Cambodia. We have this white car, which I'm not sure if it's common in Cambodia. It's certainly not universal in Cambodia, I think. But I'm not very good about the car meta and the camera meta and stuff like that. Anyways, I think um, yeah, my way of playing is more to play particular countries for the leagues that I play in and to practice them very much. Certainly, that's been true for the way I've played the Reddit League this season. I basically practiced the particular countries very much, and I think that comparatively, I'm not as good on world maps in general as I am on country maps. Now, Cambodia, of course, was a country map that we played in the Reddit League last season, or maybe the season before. I don't really know. And I actually think that I have been to this road before during my practice then, but I don't recognize it straight away. Uh, these guys certainly look like they might be Cambodians, and this truck is also, I think it's quite common, or this whatever bike it is, trike maybe. It's quite common in Southeast Asia, so it confirms or it strengthens my belief that this would be Cambodia. Yeah, I said I practiced Cambodia last year when it was part of the season, but I don't find any phone number or like road number or something like that in this round. If I had that, it would be very easy to know where we are, but we don't get that at all. Don't even really know why I look at that truck again. Um, yeah, it's not like that really helps. Yes, and even though this was a kind of uncomfortable road or uncomfortable round to play because there's not much there, you also see how long it takes for the panorama to load. You see how slowed down the moving is for me here. Um, so this wasn't much fun. But nevertheless, this was actually the road. This was the round where I won my game against HerrJemine because I think he, as we will see later, I think he went to Sri Lanka here. Yeah, I think it was Sri Lanka. And on all the other rounds, I think we played a very, very similar game on almost, yeah, no, on all four other rounds, we basically played a similar game, and we might even draw across those four rounds. So this is actually the only round that separates us, and the only reason why I won the game. I think that I will go kind of to the northeast of the country, but not as far north as this location really is. This is by the Thai border. Um, and I believe that I was hedging a little bit. I was thinking it would probably be further to the north than where I actually went. Um, but I was kind of a little bit afraid to actually go all the way there. And somebody got it, more or less. I mean, finding the right corner, at least. And well done. Yeah, exactly. I think now zooming in onto that road, and especially to the right by the river here, there's like some sort of a lodge, maybe some dolphin swimming thing or something like that, where you can go on the river in boats and look at the dolphins and stuff like that. That's what I remember from my Cambodia practice. But yeah, I didn't really recognize it when I was playing. Now this is the West Bank. I think that all of the Israel locations in a hard world in this map are actually West Bank locations. So I've played this, I don't know, I haven't practiced this very much simply because it's not as practicable, not as learnable of a map as the country maps are. But when I have had an Israeli location, it was a West Bank location, so a Palestinian location actually. But yeah, well, the coverage ends here, so it's a broken coverage kind of thing. And we cannot go further to the west. So I back off to the initial starting point and walk to the east. But I don't really, I mean, yeah, it's not a country that I've ever practiced. So I don't know anything about the phone numbers and stuff like that. I know that most of the time you find very good road signs that have a number and an easily findable location. But I don't get any of that here. So in the end I will just go off the landscape again here. So we've left that little village and moving further to the east. When you look west from that location, you can kind of see that you're already overlooking what looks like the coastal plain. And I think that is ultimately the only real clue that I can use here. That we are at a West Bank location that is not too far from the coast, really. Yeah, here you can see it again. It's actually relatively densely settled over there to our west. Okay, what have we? Okay, well, that I don't really know what happened there. There was actually, yeah, there was a little 15 here, which I don't think that's a road number. But it is in red, so I'm thinking maybe it's a road number, one of those red road numbers that they have for the bigger highways. So I am looking a little bit for the number 15 here, and I don't find it. But I think I'm deciding that even if it's just a distance marker, then maybe they have red distance markers on the red roads. So I am going for one of those red roads in the end. Looking for the 15, but not finding it, and also looking with not all that much conviction because I don't think this is actually a road number. Anyways, I'm now, I think I am changing the marker one last time from where it is. It is sort of outside of Ariel now. I think that, yeah, exactly. I think that my reason not to go for Ariel was that this is a relatively large settlement, so, and the road doesn't look all that big. That was my thinking there. I actually find the right road, but I didn't fully commit to the western end of it. Didn't fully commit to sort of the landscape clues that I had. Otherwise, I could have gotten closer here. But, it's less than 10K. I didn't really lose many points here, so not gonna complain. Flipster is playing a really good game. Another 4,999 for Flipster, who is I think in Division 4A as well. So this is a competitive game for them too. Anyways, on to round 5. And, well, that's clearly Kyrgyzstan, where, as you can see the mountains, the Cyrillic script, the car. I guess you could also look at the number plates, but I don't really think I do that. Instead, I'm basically just looking at the landscape and noting that we are on a roughly north-south road, and that when we go north, we have the river to our right. And that's basically, everything that I'm using here. And I'm gonna search the entire map for these clues. Oh yeah, I'm gonna search the entire map rather for a road that goes north-south through the mountains and just west of a river. Not this one. And I'm not actually gonna find the right road, but I will be pretty close. So again, I'm not actually losing many points here. I think I'll be maybe within 50 kilometers or something like that of the right location. And I think, yeah, it is basically enough to win the game, even though it's not a spectacular performance, I would say. It's also not a country that I've practiced before. I feel like Kyrgyzstan is a country that if you'd play 20 rounds, you would probably get to recognize most of the locations and roads that you would find yourself on. A little bit like Jordan in that way. I felt like Jordan I practiced very much for this round, for this season of the Reddit League. And I felt like I knew all the roads that I could find myself on after doing that. And I think similarly, Kyrgyzstan has quite low coverage, or rather, not many places, not many roads in Kyrgyzstan are covered. Is this the spot that I stick with in the end? I'm not entirely sure. So all of these roads are, in the end, there are many of these, right? Many of these roads that go through the mountains by a river. And okay, I'm moving over there to the east. I think we're at the spot where I was on just a few seconds ago was actually on the correct road. But yeah, I think maybe again I wanted to hedge a little bit towards the middle of the country rather than staying there. And I didn't exactly find anything that I could use, like a sign or a village or something like that. I think that this coffee spot that we saw in the very beginning is actually on the map. So maybe I could have looked for that, but at the same time, it's not very likely to have a coffee spot like that included on the map anyways. So that's that. That's the 5th round. As I said, I'll be a couple of kilometers to the east of the true location. Oh, 110 kilometers. Okay, it was actually further than I thought. But yeah, as you can see, it was that other spot further to the west where I actually had my marker before. The coffee place is indicated there. But anyways, I think, well, I did well enough. And again, I did well enough mainly because my opponent, HerrJemine, got that one Cambodia round wrong. I think I would find myself maybe in 10th here on this leaderboard. But as you can see, my name is actually at the very bottom because I'm not listed. There's HerrJemine here in 2028.